Hey, welcome to No Ordinary Woman Chat Show. I'm your host, Miss Kazmak. Now on this show, we meet some amazing, phenomenal, no ordinary women who are doing extraordinary, great works within our community. Now some of you may know about these women, some of you may not. But on this show, you're going to learn about them, you're going to be inspired, you're going to be empowered, and you're going to be encouraged to be who God created you to be. So, before we meet this no ordinary woman, watch the break, make sure you subscribe, share. Yes, make sure you subscribe and share. Tell the whole entire women campaign that you've got out there about the show. I'll see you in a bit after the break. See ya.
Wagwan, where you say? What? My name Taya and me are one Zuridal from the beautiful island of Jamaica. We have the best beaches and sunshine all through the year. We love with jerk chicken and rice and peas. But most of all, we love to party and have a good time. We purely give our reggae music and Bob Marley. Next time I go Jamaica, you have to come too. In Jamaica, we say no problem, man, enough respect, and one love to the world.
Hey guys, welcome back. As I just mentioned to you before the break, we've gotten a phenomenal, no ordinary woman. I am so blessed. I'm so honored. Oh my gosh. She is Leah Charles King. Now, this woman, hey, let me just give you a little intro. Leah Charles King is a multi-award winning TV and radio broadcaster. She's a producer, a speaker, and a coach. Her story and her path to starting the Red Carpet Academy, she's got her own organization, Red Carpet Academy, make notes guys, has been a journey of ups and downs and turns and twists, yet through it all, one theme has emerged to define not only Leah as a person, but what her story teaches all of us. Follow your dreams and never give up. So, without further ado, let me introduce you to Leah.
Hello.
Hey girl, you're looking fine.
Oh, thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here.
You look gorgeous, and I have to say, it's taken ages. Season 4,
Right.
I've finally made it.
It is your hair. It
Yes.
is your hair. And I'm so grateful that you've come and you're going to bless us all in regards to your journey and what you do. And yeah, just let's start with your journey. How did you get into just being on TV in terms of production? Because obviously you've been a broadcaster, I believe it's been what, over 20 years, is it?
Almost 20 years, yeah,
wow.
almost. So it's a long time in TV. Before that, though, I did start off, I was in a girl band when I was younger.
Yeah.
And we were signed to Sony Music. And I think a lot of that that development deal before we released our first singles was a real sort of way of learning. You know, we were only like 12 when we first started.
Wow.
And so by the time the band ended, after a couple of top 20 hits and all the rest of it,
but only by the time, top 20 hits.
Well, it could have been more. It could have been more.
Listen, some people are just like,
I am kidding. Do you know what? I'm really proud of the group. We were called Cliche. Many people go, oh yes, I remember. Oh no, I don't. We were called Cliche. Really terrible name. We didn't know what it meant. We were only young, and we just thought it sounded good. We're a cliche, so we spelled it differently. KLESHAY, because we thought it's ironic because it means we're not a cliche. Anyway. That's the backstory of that. But the great thing was we achieved great things. We got to work with amazing people. We got to perform in amazing places. But when the group ended, that was it. I was just like, I was in the wilderness. I didn't even know what to do with myself because my whole life.
How old was you then when it all finished?
Well, Kaz.
Okay, so
Kaz is basically trying to get my age, but nobody knows. And shall I tell you what it is? Shall I tell you why that is? It's just become a thing. It's not that I don't want to tell my age or that but it's become such a thing that I find it quite funny. Okay. So I like going along with it.
Okay.
But put it this way, I was young.
Okay.
Then I got into TV on Children's ITV, and I'm their first and only black female.
Yes. And what was that like? I mean, how did you find, being the only black presenter at the time, in doing children's television? How was that for you?
Well, the thing is, it wasn't just me. I was the only one on CITV, but then you had Angelica Bell on CBBC. Yes. And we're actually really good friends. We became really good friends. But at the time, as an industry would be, they sort of pit us against each other, where they wouldn't necessarily do that to the other female presenters, but when it came to Angelica and I, it was a case of we had to be in competition. And that was the kind of first time, I think, now looking back, where I was really like, okay, that's what the industry does. Then you realise that colour is a thing. And I'm not saying that, of course, I've never experienced any, it's ridiculous. I've been told by execs that I can't have a certain job, not because I'm a bad presenter, but because of the colour of my skin.
Stop your
I've had that a few
nonsense.
times. Yeah, I've been sat in a room and they've gone, we really want to give you this gig. You're actually the best presenter around, but we don't think people outside of London want to see black people on their TV.
Wow.
These are real stories.
Wow, that's just so deep, because I mean, we're living in a time which I believe, you know, that we're very multicultural and everything else. We see black people, we see Asian people, we see different, you know, ethnic groups and everything else. But why can we not see you on various different shows? What, because you're black? It's just...
Well, I know it's ridiculous. You know it's ridiculous. Most people out there would think the same as well. But that is just the way the industry is. And that is why now I think many women of all different races and all the rest of it, particularly women of colour, why we're just doing things ourselves now.
Yeah.
Because you can't really expect, I think... Maybe years ago we had an expectancy that we were owed something and we would do something. But actually... No, the world doesn't change, but we have to evolve if we want to climb that mountain and break through glass ceilings. I mean, look at what you're doing here now, even. Imagine 10 years ago, that wouldn't even be, maybe even 5 years ago, it may have been a little seed, but not a possibility.
Yeah.
So things are changing.
Definitely. And I mean, in regards to having, you know, the digital world and everything else, yes, we are able to broadcast and do our own things, but at the same time, you still have mainstream television and you're still quite limited to seeing somebody that you could say, oh, there's another, you know, person that looks like me. And my concern is also for the next generation, because obviously it means that how they have to go out there, do their thing. Doesn't matter what the content of it, you know, is. Not saying everything is negative what people are doing out there, but not everything is going to be fruitful. And you still need to be seeing like the Leah, Charles King, the you know, just Brenda Manis and Angela Mar, all of these women that out there who started, you know, what you guys have been doing, and I salute you all. But it's still not fair, because we're still just, there's only a small amount of us. Do you know what I mean, kind of thing. And we need people that we can relate to, you know, especially for our next generation.
Absolutely.
That's our future.
No, I completely agree. For me, it was quite a major thing. I remember many years ago, I was asked by BET to come and do some red carpets, and things were going quite well over there. In fact, I launched BET in this country as their first on-air talent. And around that time, or even just before then, I thought I could go to America and do this thing. The opportunity was there. It was all laid out. But then there was this thing, I said, you know what, I'm going to actually go back to the UK, because there's still nobody in the mainstream that I could, you know, what about my cousins, my nieces, my nephews, my kids or whatever, who are they looking at? And so I made that decision. And sometimes people say, you're crazy, you could have been huge in America or wherever right now. But then I just feel like what is meant is meant. I'm grateful that for almost 20 years I've been in TV, mainstream TV, as my bread and butter. That's a wonderful thing.
That's
I do
amazing.
believe, thank you, I do believe that things will change, but I also believe that we can't be bitter about things, and we can't watch these. We just have to get on and do what we need to do, and hopefully the right people will see us at the right time.
And that's what I love about in regards to what you're doing with your own business with the Red Carpet Academy. If you would like to tell our viewers a bit more about that as well, how you started and where that all stemmed from.
Yeah, well, basically the Red Carpet Academy, we teach people how to refine their on-camera presence. So it's my business. However, I've got other experts with me. We are all from mainstream TV and radio and international speakers and all the rest of it. And basically what we do is we help people like yourselves. We help business people, speakers, people that want to just leverage online media, social media, YouTube, vlogging, you name it, because that's a real craft and a real skill. That because we have a nice little button on Facebook Live, for example, doesn't mean we should all press it and we could just speak to it, because it's taken me many, many years to learn my craft, and I take it very seriously as well. So the great thing is that I teach other serious people how to present well.
Yeah, because I came into one of your events as well, you know, obviously coming to Red Carpet Academy, and I was just like, oh my gosh, you know, I was so nervous and everything else. I'm with a pro and I'm going to go and do my thing. But what I loved about doing your Red Carpet Academy was that the feedback, you know, because as much as you see so many people doing like the Facebook Lives, the YouTube, etc., but some of them just look so like, really, you're going to really put that up live? The lighting's incorrect, your content, just the way you're presenting yourself, everything. You know, we take these things for granted. We just assume that, yep, I can go out there and I can just do it. Do you know what I mean? Kind of thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's not like if you was to say, go to, you know, I've got an hernia in my stomach. I'm not going to speak to somebody that may say, yeah, I'll cut it all. But you're going to go to a doctor. You're going to go to a professional.
Absolutely,
so that's the same thing we should be still doing here,
yeah,
right?
I just think now, because we do have social media, we do have all these platforms that we didn't have 10, 20 years ago when I started. I think we're living in a different world then. And in one sense, it's amazing because you can reach, you know, people can watch this on the other side of the world. Didn't have that when I started. But at the same time, it's... I always say to people, you know, it's as if I went online or I read a book and I read all about law and then suddenly went, right, I'm going to be a lawyer now. And it's the same kind of thing. And it's bittersweet for me. I'm really pleased that people have access to these amazing tools now. But on the flip side, it's sort of, I think people take for, not all people, but many take for granted that presenting is a real skill.
Do you cringe when you see some people's work? Like, oh my God, what is that?
Sometimes. And if I'm fortunate enough to have them in the Red Carpet Academy, they know what I'm like. I'm very straight.
Yeah.
I'm always, you know, a lot of fun. It always comes from a good place. And I will say, right, you need to stop doing this and stop doing that. And they go, like you go, oh my God, thanks for telling me.
Yeah, definitely.
So, you know, it's cool. I'm just happy to give tips and tricks of the trade that has taken me so many years to learn. What's the point of just holding them to myself? You know, I may as well share and see others doing well, and that's what it's about. That's part of my God-given purpose, so I'm happy to do it.
So when is your next event? Because I mean, obviously people can sign up to come and, you know, do the Red Carpet Academy, but could you give our viewers a bit more information to how they can find you? What's your social media platforms?
Yeah, so the redcarpetacademy.com. That's where you can find out everything, our one-day courses, our fast-track services. We look after you, I promise. We do. We totally give the full red carpet treatment. It's what it's about, you know. And then you can find us on all social media handles, the RC Academy. And if you're looking for me, it's Leah Charles King everywhere.
Yes. So guys, come on, go Google. Come on, you got all the social media feeders. Don't just sit there and think, can I just check it out? It's not going to harm you. But what else I was going to ask you in regards to doing a red carpet, but what made you want to do that? I mean, obviously, I know you're giving to everybody else, but why?
Gosh, okay, so the short version is that for years, over the years, I've had, you know, people write. It was writing in those days, not emailing. They'd write, they'd send a message, pigeon carrier, whatever it was, to say, oh, that went over her head, to say, just to say, oh, you know, I love you, can you teach me? I want to be a presenter like you. And the industry is so difficult and it's so full of ups and downs. And yes, I'm here, I'm polished, that's what I do, but I've worked hard for it. I've had a lot of down times. I have, you know, been high and low so many times. Famous, not famous, not, who cares about fame? We're living in a reality world now, you know, reality TV. Everyone has 5 minutes. It's about longevity. And, you know, one of my darkest days, because I was really suffering depression at many ups and downs of my career, and it's not something that I've hidden either. Right. It was during one of those times where I was very low. I hadn't worked for a few months and tearing my hair. It's what I do for a living. So now it's like, what can I do? Where can I go? I haven't, you know, I had no money to pay my bills, and I have hustled and done other jobs. I'm not work shy. But then I had a major operation. And I was very, very ill. And by the time I did get discharged from hospital, I couldn't even stand. I couldn't sit up. It was really bad. And one day I just said, you know what? This vision for the Red Carpet Academy that I'd had almost 10 years prior, that I was I wrote down, but I was too afraid. I just thought, I haven't got the confidence. My confidence was low.
Of course,
didn't know what exactly.
I was going
through the worst depression, like, you know, all sorts of thoughts that I wouldn't even want to repeat. What I would say to people is, if you are thinking, feeling that way, you're not alone. Don't give up. It's really important for me to say that. I know what that's like, but it's during that time when I just said, do you know what? Pass me my laptop. And I took the laptop and I built our first website.
Wow.
I knew nothing about website. I knew nothing about website. I didn't even know how I was going to teach people. I did it in faith. Just because I've got all these years experience, it doesn't mean that now I can suddenly teach you. I had to develop a program. But I had to start in faith. And that moment I just said, do you know what, sod it, I'm going to do it. People are obviously asking for it. And as I went along and I've started seeing over the last 3 years, the changes, little old me, just the changes I'm seeing in people and what they do, how they're now, you know, making money from doing speaking engagements where they weren't before, or how they're now making their own TV shows when they weren't before, just learning things. I'm proud of that, and it actually makes me feel that although those horrible times, and I say it now with a smile because I'm here and I'm with you, and I never imagined, you know, a few years ago that I would be in this position, because I didn't want to be here, and that's the God's honest truth. I didn't want to be here. And so to be able to look back now and go, gosh, I'm not saying I'll never have a dark day again, but how brilliant, that's something that was made for bad is now coming to good.
Praise God.
It's helping so many other people. Honestly, the transformation I see, I go home after teaching sometimes and I cry. People wouldn't know that, because I'm just like, it's a lot of energy that I give, and you've been there and you know it all comes from a good place. Of course. People say maybe I give too much and all the rest of it, but
that's who
I don't regret it.
But that's who you are. And I think what's amazing about you is that, you know, you've created this legacy. Do you understand what I'm saying? In terms of what you're doing, not because, oh, right, I've had a bit of setbacks, but you kept on going. But not only you just kept on going, you're coming back to help others. Do you know what I mean, kind of thing? And I really want to say from the bottom of my heart, thank you, Leah, because you're really helping so many other people to be able to fulfill that dream that they may even feel it's not possible, and you've made it possible. So, you know, keep on doing what you're doing.
Thank you.
You know, because it's absolutely amazing, and sometimes it's good to be given to other people. It's not always about take.
Yeah, I'm probably not very good at the taking part, but it's, you know, I always say it's fine. God will bless me. It's fine. Yeah. You know, I really just put it in his hands, and I really just leave it there if I'm honest with you. But all of these things that many of us have been through, they make and they shape us and all the rest of it. And the things I've gone through, I had a choice to have more empathy for others or become bitter. And I chose to be more empathetic to others. And, you know, I do have a big heart, and I just want the best for people. And talking of, you know, the mental health stuff as well, I'm now the official ambassador of Grey Matter mental health charity, which is amazing. So they are doing some fantastic things across the UK in terms of helping people with mental health problems.
So what's the age groups?
Well, actually, it started off as a university.
A
mental health within universities, the first ever. Because can you believe there were so many dropouts and unfortunately suicides per year in universities?
Yeah, I can understand that pressure.
But did you know there is absolutely no support? So if you go to your
counsellor,
there's not even counsellor, but if you go to your, don't know what they call it at uni, your head of year, your whatever, and you say to them, look, this is right, exactly, head of faculty, whatever, look, I'm depressed or whatever, they won't see the signs, they won't help you. You just, there's no support in place.
But then I suppose it's because they're not qualified in that area.
Well, that's the
Do you know
point.
What I mean? So if that's not their speciality, they won't be able to see those other sides.
But this is what Grey Matter is doing, because the universities are willing, and they do write off millions of pounds a year that could actually be going into creating support within each university, in the same way you'd get HR for if you're well, it's the same thing. We should have that level of support. Even at local GP, your GP doesn't know how to treat mental health. So the first thing they do, if you go there and say I'm depressed or I'm feeling low, they give you the same antidepressants, which actually they gave me once, and it was the wrong type of medication. It could have made me worse. So, you know, these things are really, really serious. And all of what I'm doing with the Red Carpet Academy, with my journey, even with Grey Matter Mental Health Foundation, it's all for a purpose. For me, I just feel like whatever I've gone through or I'm going through, my time that I'm here, it needs to help others. And that really is, whether it's a way that I teach people how to present or to speak or use their voice, have a voice, whether it's about fighting for something that I believe in, like more support for mental health and all the rest of it. Too many people are suffering.
Yes.
And it's difficult.
Yeah, it's difficult. And I suppose going back to what you're saying in regards to universities and, you know, the suicidal rates being quite high and everything else, but it just goes back down to knowing what those signs are and, you know, being able to support those individuals. But what would you say to somebody that may be dealing with depression right now and they're watching the show? What would you say to encourage that person, if you don't mind just speaking to the camera?
Do you know what? This is a really hard thing, and I know if you're watching this, I was in your position, and you're probably sitting there thinking, what could she say to me? What does she know? My life is just horrible at the moment. And you probably can't even see tomorrow. You probably can't even see in the next hour. But look at me here, my yellow top stands for sunshine, I'm smiling. And let me just tell you, I was in the worst place so many times, not just once, not just twice, but so many times in my life have I suffered very bad depression, suicidal thoughts, attempts, you name it. I didn't want to be here. What I would say to you is, you're not alone. And I know that's a cliche, you're not alone. But I want you to know that you deserve to live a happy life. You really do, you deserve to live a happy life. And you are not a bad person, and there's nothing bad about you, and you are loved. And just remember that. And if you want to reach out to me, send me a private message, send Kaz or whoever, whatever you do, don't suffer in silence. There will be someone in your life who loves you, regardless of what you believe now. But if you want someone impartial, go to your doctor. Samaritans, like I said, message me, I don't care. But just make sure you don't suffer where you are in silence. So there you have it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And also, in regards to those dark moments that you had, if you don't mind if we talk about this, how did you overcome those dark times? You know, obviously, like you said, 1 minute famous, next minute not, you know, not getting to work and everything else. How did you cope with that?
The thing is, I don't think my depression came from fame or the lack of it or the fame. You know, thank God I'm a very down-to-earth person. I believe so anyway.
Yeah.
And I've never believed the hype. I truly believe what goes up must come down. So like I said, I'm here with you today, but it doesn't mean tomorrow I wouldn't have another down day, or I wouldn't, God forbid, lose this job or that. Do you see what I mean? But, you know, it's a really, really difficult situation. In those really dark days, it was like being in a tunnel. And I couldn't see my way out. There was no way. I just couldn't see my way. It didn't matter what you told me, what anybody told me. I could not see the way out. And depression is a little tricky thing, really, because it makes you sometimes remove yourself from others. Yeah. Because you feel like others don't love you, haven't got time for you. And you see people having great lives and you're looking at them just... I wouldn't say it's not a jealous thing or anything like that, but sometimes if you're so deeply unhappy and you see everybody else living, or what is perceived to be living, a great life, it makes you feel worse.
Of course.
Because you don't want to be that Debbie Downer going, oh, they're really rubbish there. And really, nobody really wants to hear that either. Let's be honest. We're living in a real world.
That is,
you know,
very
no matter
true.
how much you're I'm not saying that, of course, you have people who love you and whatever, not everyone's going, But at the same time, you just don't want to be a burden on anyone.
And I totally get that. But one of the things that I've noticed when I've been going through like depression myself is that, especially as us both being women of God, that the devil will play with your mind. You know what I mean? He's planting those seeds. He's lying to you constantly. And then you isolate yourself. So then you're not able to get that support and that help that you really do need. And the honest truth is, you know, if somebody thinks that you're a burden, then they're just not the person for you. But the right people that are there for you is going to be there for you for your ups and your downs and your, you know, lows and twists.
But the thing is as well, what you have to remember is people come and go.
Of course, absolutely.
And just because people come and go, it doesn't mean that you go with them. Your life is over. People come and go, and that is the bottom line. You are still special in your right. I'm still special. The crew here, your guests, everyone is still special in our own right. And although we will have down days, life isn't always going to be up like that all the time. But what I can say from experience, and like I said, not even thinking that I would overcome at some points. What I would say is that I'm living testament to that, actually. Because going through those dark stages, actually, since God has brought me out of that, it's just been next level to next level to next level. And I thought back then I was at a great level.
Yeah.
And now I just realised it's just not about me anymore. It's not about me. And people say, well, you've been around so long. Why are you not hosting the X Factor or, this or that?
And then they do all of this comparison.
It's just like, look, at the end of the day, I'm grateful to be working almost 20 years as a black female in mainstream TV. Yes, all right. Some people know me and some people don't, but it doesn't take away any of my experience.
That's right.
It doesn't take away the work that I do, and it doesn't take away the fact that even if it's a tiny little bit, that inspires others and other people see, and that's why I mentor young people as well. It's so important.
That's amazing. And you've won so many awards as well, right? Because like the Screen Nation Awards, and you've got so many awards, and obviously presenting and hosting these big mega events. How did these opportunities just land on your lap like that? Because I've seen young people watching your show, and I'm like, this girl is at bomb.com.
Well, the thing is, you say, how do they land on my lap? And I'll completely say they didn't. They didn't. And that's a big misconception, isn't it? That as if they just... I've worked my butt off, seriously, for years and years. And I couldn't be here if it wasn't, it's evidential that I've worked hard.
Yeah.
It hasn't fallen into my lap at all. I've really had to break down doors. I've had, look, I've been like in debt, homeless, depressed. Like I've gone through it all, hungry, poverty stricken, whatever. And so I've just had to, in those, like I say, those dark times, I've had to keep plowing on. And anything that comes to me, I truly just know that it's not, and I don't like to sound all spiritual and all that, and I know that's what some people do, and that's cool. What I do, because what I believe, my purpose and the way God wants me to be, is just very matter of fact about stuff. And the bottom line is, it's him. It's him. And that's all I can really say, because I know where I've come from.
Yeah.
And I know what I've seen and what I've done and what I haven't done. And I know what it's like when you're indoors and you close the door and that's it. You're looking at your life going, where on earth am I going now? What is going to happen, God? What is going to happen to me? Why have you allowed this to happen to me? Why are you allowing this to happen to me now? Why have you let that person speak to me that way? Why have you let that person be bad mind to me? My heart is good. Why are you allowing that? And you do have that time, as you would with your own father, kind of like, why are you? But the beauty of it is that he just sorts it out. He always sorts it out when I least expect it. But I know it's him, and then I kind of laugh and I go, "You're funny."
But it's shaped you and it's molded you to become the woman that you are today.
Yeah,
do you know
absolutely.
what I mean? So if we didn't go through these ups and downs in life, unfortunately, some is worse than others. But that's where we are able to plug into faith. And obviously, you are amazing, and just hearing your story, it's just amazing. And I just really want to say thank you so much for coming on the show and just really keeping it real. But also what I want to, because we're going to have to wrap up real soon, is what would you also say to somebody that may want to get into broadcasting? What tips would you give to that individual, if you don't mind also speaking to the camera?
Yes, well, tips I would say is be tenacious. If you just want to be famous, don't do it. Just, I don't know, go on a reality show or something. But if you truly admire the craft and you want to learn the craft, then you've got to go and do it. Do things that you're willing to put yourself out there for. It's not about money, so you may have to do a lot of work at first just for the experience, and that's what you've got to do. But just be tenacious. And of course, if you really want to learn the skill, the Red Carpet Academy is where you need to be.
Okay, so guys, make sure you go and hook up with Leah, Red Carpet Academy. Yes. And also any upcoming events.
Yeah, well, the thing is, you could always see me on ITV, on Jackpot 24/7.
24/7,
so
guys.
if you like a bit of gaming, so I do Jackpot 24/7 on ITV. You tend to see me doing a red carpet or two, or hosting some great events. I also do the flagship radio show on the Beat London, Old School Friday.
Yes.
So that's always fun.
Well, Northwest, but North Wheezy.
North Wheezy.
North Wheezy representing.
Absolutely. I grew up in North Wheezy, so it's always got a love in my heart, definitely.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Oh, fantastic. Well, thank you for coming on the show, No Ordinary Woman. And guys, until next time, we hope that you enjoyed the show. We was blessed, and Leah, isn't she beautiful? Oh my gosh. But anyway, until next time, I will see you with another amazing, no ordinary woman. Until next time, I'll see you, and make sure you subscribe, share, and don't keep it all to yourself. Love you lots. Myself and Leah loves you. Bye-bye. Ciao.
You are the key. It's only natural. Woman, you are the start. You are the beginning. And that is a problem.